Hi everyone, welcome back to the life of T and M. Happy 2021, happy New Year's. I am so glad 2020 is over. Praying for good vibes for 2021. Sorry it's been a while since I posted a video, but I've been super busy with work. I hope you all are doing well, and I'm actually here as a follow-up to one of my previous videos. I've been getting a lot of comments on it, and so I'm here to reply to some of those comments and hopefully provide some clarity and some more education on public health nursing. So the video I'm referring to is right here. So if you haven't watched it, go ahead and go in my description box below. I put the link there and go ahead and watch it, as this is a part 2. So in that video, I talked about public health nursing, the different types of departments you can get into, the various roles, and how to even get into it in the first place. You guys thought it was very informative, so thank you for that. I try to get in as much content as I can when I'm talking about a topic. But you guys had some great follow-up comments, so I screenshotted some of those comments, and I'm going to be answering your questions here. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I know we're only at 267 at this point, but it's okay. I'm here just to share knowledge, and I'd love if you could subscribe and join my journey. This is a joint YouTube channel with my boyfriend. You can find my videos under M's Corner and his videos under T's Corner. Now let's get into this video. Okay, so the first comment I got, which I get all the time actually, is how do you feel about people saying that you're gonna lose your real nursing skills, or that you're not a real nurse? So I just want to let you know, this is no disrespect to any kind of nurse out there, but just being a hospital nurse is not the only kind of nurse. No matter what you do, if you have your RN, your LVN, you are still a nurse. It just depends the kind of population and the setting you work at, right? So I'm a strong believer in it's okay if you don't work in a hospital, and it's okay if you just work in a hospital. But from my point of view, I absolutely love where I work. The population I deal with, the hours, the pay, the pension, having weekends and holidays off, it's a benefit that I enjoy and it fits for my life. So it may not be for everyone else, and that's perfectly fine. But I just wanted to address this comment that how do I feel? So I just want to start off with, if you want to get into public health nursing and you are worried about losing your nursing skills. Now, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, because in the community setting, you could work a clinic, which still gives you, you know, injections, IVs, exams, specimen collections, things like that. Or you can go out and just do COVID testing, which is what we're doing right now. You can give vaccines, you can draw blood. So there's other skills that you're using out in the field that I guess you could still consider nursing skills, quote unquote, or bedside nursing, right? So yeah, this isn't bedside nursing, but you could still use some of your nursing skills out in the community. And so if you are worried about it, there are a ton of nurses who have per diem jobs. Now they have per diem, whether it's hospice, they actually work per diem in the hospital still, maybe 2 times a month, or maybe they work a Friday night shift and then a Saturday day shift. Because remember, we do work Monday through Friday 8 to 5, so anything at night or on the weekend would fit your schedule. And if you're worried about losing your nursing skills, quote unquote, so I'm going to refer to it as bedside nursing, then you definitely can work a per diem job. So having the ability, like I said, to work Monday through Friday 8 to 5, you're not as exhausted as working bedside, right? And so you still have some energy, and if you have time, you definitely can work a per diem job. And so there's, like I said, a ton of nurses that do it. And so if you're worried about that, come and join public health, see if it's something that you like, and then still keep a per diem job. If you're currently at a hospital, see if they have a per diem position available, and then you can stay there and work there a couple days a month while you still have your job. It's great for supplemental income, because I did get a few questions asking about the pay. So I live in California, I'm centrally located, and so, you know, depending on the state, the country, wherever you live, every nurse gets paid different. There's nurses that live in rural areas that maybe start at 25 to 30, and then you can work in the Bay Area, which is about an hour from here, and you can get paid $80 to $90 an hour. So to really say how much we get paid doesn't truly reflect where you're at. But what I did give someone advice was, in an area hospital as a brand new nurse, you can start at $42 to $43 an hour. And at the county as a brand new, no experienced nurse, you could start from $38 to $40. If you're going in as an entry level, you might be getting close to $50 an hour at a hospital. and maybe that's nighttime differential, not quite sure, but I would say the average experienced nurse is about $50. And at the county, let's see, if you're a supervisor, you could range anywhere from 45 to 50. So yeah, it is less. But you have to look at the workload and the hours and the days that you're working, the pension, the retirement, everything like that. And your quality of life. I mean, if you feel like you're really run down at your hospital job or whatever job you're at, it does not have to be acute care. Maybe you're at an outpatient surgery. Wherever you're at, maybe you're just feeling burnt out, right? And that's why I think a lot of people enjoyed the last video. It is something to try and to see if you like it. And I have no kids yet, but I know once I do, this will really be wonderful because you're off at 5 and you have the weekends off with your kids. Maybe you can get an alternative work schedule where it's a little bit earlier, 7 to 3:30. So depending where you work, maybe the hours might be a little bit more flexible for you. So thank you so much for that question. That is a great question. I know I dragged it out a little bit longer, but that's just a review over what I feel about losing nursing skills, quote unquote, and also the pay. The next question I got was, do you always have to do home visits? So in my previous video, I did talk about how certain programs do home visits. So no, not every program within public health does home visits. So the job I had before I became a supervisor at public health, I was in office 100%. I did not do home visits at all. So for those of you that are worried that, oh my gosh, if I get into public health, I'm gonna have to go out into the community, you do not have to. There are programs where they are 100% in office. Now, if you're the type that likes to be out in the field and likes to engage and likes to go educate, then there's an option for you to get into a different type of program and do that outreach. Go see babies, go weigh babies, go see pregnant teen moms and go educate them. You can go out to Head Start, you can go out to preschools, you can go to elementary schools, you can do health fairs. We do a ton of outreach health fairs pre-COVID, so hopefully we get back to it soon. We'll go out and do TB testing. Right now, of course, with COVID, we're doing a ton of COVID vaccinations, we're doing COVID testing, we're going out to businesses and educating about outbreaks, we're going out to long-term care facilities and hospitals, and we're teaching the hospitals about COVID and how to cohort, how to test, how to look for symptoms. So there are just so many different areas right now that during the pandemic you can also get into if you're interested. Public health, they also have part-time and full-time. So if you want to try it part-time, see if that's something that you like, you can also try that. So thank you so much for that question, because that is a great point that no, if you want to be more sedentary just in the office, that is an option for you. Now, if there's a specific program that you're interested in, please let me know in the comments and I'd be able to elaborate on it more. Even if I haven't worked it, I have other nurses that work in that department and I can get a little bit more familiar with it. I did have someone ask, like, if I was a nurse in the WIC program, what would I be doing, right? So that's a great question. If I was in foster care, if I was a foster care nurse, what would I be doing? If I was in childhood-led prevention poisoning program, if I was a nurse in that department, what would I do? If I was responding to the COVID pandemic, because I know a lot of public health departments are hiring for nurses right now, what would I do in that role? So if you have a question on a specific department, I'd be more than happy to elaborate on it. Just let me know down in the comments. The next comment I got was another great one. It was, do you think I'll miss out on the basic nursing skills if I don't start in a hospital first and just go straight to public health? Well, if you think about experience with IVs, with trachs, with any other bedside nursing skills, if you go into public health, of course you're gonna miss out on those nursing skills because we do not do bedside care in public health. But if that's something that you're interested in, then like I said, you can start off at a hospital if you want, get your experience, drop down to per diem, and then get your full-time public health nursing job. So just because you're going into public health full-time or part-time doesn't mean you can't also try out other aspects, because with nursing, as I've said before, you can go into so many different fields and you're gonna find out what's right for you. You may like working foster care because technically it's peds and you're looking at child abuse, which yes is sad, but maybe you want to be that kind of nurse that helps those kids make sure they get to their specialty appointments. And so just because you get into public health doesn't mean you're not going to like other avenues of nursing, right? There's people who work in dermatology clinics, outpatient GI, there's a ton of outpatient offices. You can work just in a regular clinic, you can work in an urgent care. So if you want to try something else that's not acute care, you can always do acute care per diem to keep up with your basic nursing skills if that's what you're interested in. Because like I'm telling you, a lot of nurses do go that route because they love that bedside nursing, but not for the 410s or not for the 312s, or not to stay there full time because they're so burnt out, right? They work their 312s and the rest of the time you think, oh, I'm off for 4 days, but then you're totally exhausted. And so this gives nurses the opportunity to work their regular job that they love, and then work a per diem job maybe every weekend, maybe 2 times a month. And it still gives you that nursing skill refresher. So last 2 comments. The first one, I guess, was more of not a question, but it was really a comment, a good one, that had said, I also love that you get your loans paid off in 10 years. So I can make a whole nother video on that. So if you work for a government agency or you work for a federal program, there's a whole list. If you have loans through the federal government, they have a program where if you work at a certain employer for 10 years, they pay off all your student loans. So I can go into a whole video about that loan forgiveness program. So that's another perk that people also really like. Now the last questions, I should say, I got, because I got like 4 or 5 of them, is how to boost up my resume for a public health nursing job. How do I prepare for an interview, and how can I make some good meaningful connections now while maybe I'm in school, I'm in grad school, to prepare for a job interview with public health. So I think that needs its own video, and so I promise I won't make you wait long. So my next video will be everything about interviews for public health. Now, I'm not an expert in interviews, but I'd be more than happy to share what I've learned. I'm now a supervisor at public health, so that happened at the end of August. I haven't even made a video about that, but if you guys want to hear about that, I will. And so I just went through an interview process again, and so just give you some tips and tricks, some things like you should put on your resume, maybe some community outreach you could be doing to make you look more hireable to the public health sector. So I hope you guys enjoyed this follow-up video to my first one. Please leave comments down below of what you want to see more. My public health nurse interview tips and tricks will be up in the next video. Thank you so much. I hope you guys all take care, and I'll see you in my next video.